It's been a while, hasn't it? Well, I'm back. I am finally back to do another Miitopia episode after almost 2 months. You know? Hold on, let me turn this down a little bit so it's not drowning out my voice. There we go. I prefer to just keep it down so you guys can hear me. Let me get closer to the camera so it's not as echoey. And I am recording at night this time. Last time I recorded during the day because I just wasn't in the mood to do it during the night before. So I just did it the morning of premiering it. But yeah, I took a break from premiering and live stream videos because, you know, my life was just kind of, I guess you can say, stagnant for a while. Nothing new was happening, so, and Green Ethan, he was busy with like school and like other stuff, so it just wasn't really a good time for either of us. But he informed me that he was free this week, and I do have some updates for you guys finally. So today is a good week to finally do another Miitopia LP. You know, sometimes like, you know, sometimes I will do Papa Louie live streams, sometimes I will do Miitopia premieres. You know, I'm very flexible, so I mostly leave it up to him. Green Ethan. But yeah, first I want to talk about Papa's Paleteria because it came out while I was on hiatus of doing videos, because like I don't really know the last video I did. I even skipped doing a daylight savings time rant this year because, you know, I just wasn't motivated to do any videos. You know, it can be a pain to like set your phone up and all that stuff. So, you know, I don't always have the motivation to do certain videos. But yeah, Papa's Paleteria came out since the last time I did a live stream or a premiere. So I'll be talking about that. And it's a good game. It is a really good game. I'm probably not going to talk about it too much in case, because I don't know how far, you know, the two Ethans are into the game. You know, I'm really far into it. I'm currently on the second Valentine's Day. You know, I really got into that game. But, you know, I'm not sure where Purple Ethan is, and I'm not sure where Green Ethan, where you are. So, yeah. I'll talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to get too into the game in depth because, you know, spoilers and whatnot. Okay, good. You didn't misbuy. I'm keeping this fan, the pink fan, because it's more suitable for me, but you know, that's what I like about this game. I love how you can equip the stats, but you don't have to change. You don't have to actually change the weapon or the clothes, because you may like get a weapon, you know, a weapon upgrade or a clothes upgrade, you know, where you just want the better stats. You don't necessarily want to actually wear it, because you may prefer, you know, a lower level one, but you know, you want the stats though. So I'm glad they make it to where you can have the highest stats but still keep your favorite weapon and your favorite clothing. Very, very smart. For example, my favorite gown and my favorite fan are the rose gown, specifically the pink variant, and the fancy fan. You know, I can keep it, you know, but when I get better fans and better clothing, I can still keep my favorite fan and, you know, the rose and the fancy fan, but I can continue to equip better stats. Like, I can have the legendary stats, but I can still wear the rose gown and the fancy fan. So yeah, I think that's a godsend feature in this game. Oh boy. Oh, he actually likes it. Okay. I was not expecting that to go well. I remember Ashton gave him an acorn one time, and Purple Ethan, you were just like, your me was just like, but why? It was so funny. But yeah, I love Papa Splatteria. Oh my god. I've been enjoying the hell out of that game. I'm also finding myself getting really, really attached to Ali Kabam. I don't know what it is. She's just badass in a way, you know. I like her little bunny hat. I love her cape. I love her little bow that she wears. She's just a badass. I can't wait until her flip deck comes out. You know, I was really surprised when she was a closer, because when like I found, like, you know, when I found out that she's one of the closers, because usually, like, you know how like when Flipline is releasing new sneak peeks for, I meant to put Royal Wave, or yeah, Royal Wave, but I keep selecting Regal Dance instead. Oh well, at least I'm stunning some of them. Oh wow, it's working. They're all distracted right now. Okay. 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 Alright, I'm just gonna finish this off. There we go. There we go. But yeah, like, when Flipline is releasing sneak peeks for a new Gameria, like, you know, they always give a sneak peek. They've always given a sneak peek for a customer at least for the past decade or so. I'm not sure if they've always done it, but like I've been following the blog since, I believe, 2013. I've played the games since 2011, I believe, 2010 or 2011, but I believe is when I started playing, but I didn't find out that there was a blog for, for all the updates until 2013, like late 2013 at that. So I was kind of out of the loop of like all, the process of new game areas being developed until late 2013, It was after, which was after Cupcakeria came out and before Pastaria came out, the web version of Pastaria, because this was in 2013 and not 2020. So that was really the first game that I actually followed the updates on. And we got a sneak peek. For the new customer, I believe it was Crystal. I think she's... Oh my god. Oh, good. Okay, good. I was about to be like, fuck me. But yeah, if I remember correctly, Crystal was the customer they revealed, and I believe they mentioned about her being a closer. Then Rudy for... But yeah, and then Rudy for Donateria, I could be misremembering if it's always been this way, but I'll probably look it up after I'm done doing this. But, from what I remember, they've always like mentioned if they were going to be a closer or not, and if they're just going to be a regular customer, like, when they, talked about Skip and the Scooperia sneak peeks, he was a normal customer, so they didn't say anything about him being a closer. And then, of course, Yuko and Cluckeria. She was mentioned to be a closer, so if, like, the point is, like, they usually mention if they're going to be a closer, and if they're not going to be a closer, they don't say anything, but they didn't say anything about Ali Kabam being a closer, so I really didn't think she would be a closer. I think I thought the closer lineup would... my prediction for the closer lineup was very off. Like, I thought it was gonna be... the only ones I was correct on was Yuko and, of course, JoJo and Quinn, But those don't really... They're always closers, so, those don't really count if they're just freebies, technically, They're always going to be closers. Like, I don't see that changing in a million years. The day Quinn and JoJo become normal customers is the day hell freezes over. And I don't even believe in hell. So that can only mean one thing, right? It just ain't gonna happen. It's it's just not gonna happen. But yeah, I think it was the first time, like, where they gave a customer sneak peek without them saying they were going to be a closer, but they ended up becoming a closer, because I think it even, like, apparently it was worth mentioning on her wiki page, under trivia. So yeah, I think I'm right, because I think one of the trivia of Ali Kabam on the wiki page was something along the lines of, oh, she's the first customer that became a closer without it being mentioned, or something like that. The only thing that I'm a bit disappointed about is we didn't get Yuko's husband. When we got Yuko's flip deck last year, her husband was mentioned, Enzo, I think his name is, and I wanted to see him because he seemed a bit intriguing, but we unfortunately never got him as a customer. And he was one of the predictions I had for being a closer too. And I thought Whippa was going to be a closer this time around, but not Moose, since in Cluckeria, Moose was a closer, but not Whippa, so my brain was telling me that they would make Whippa a closer, but not Moose this time around, to balance them out. That still weirds me out to this day. Not necessarily in a bad way, I thought it was pretty cool, but it weirds me out nonetheless, because I figured it would be a tradition that both of them were going to be closers together. Like, either both of them were going to be closers, or neither of them, in whatever particular game area, in any given game area. But apparently my theory was debunked when Cluckeria came out. So yep, my closer predictions was way off. At first I didn't want Ali to be a closer, like, before the game came out, because some people were kind of talking about it, but I didn't think she would be. And I was hoping she wouldn't be a closer, because I wanted that spot to go to Enzo or Whippa, or just one of my predictions, or hell, even Moose again. I mean, I was kind of doubtful about it, but you can still have hope of something, even though you're, like, doubtful of it. So yeah, deep down, like, before the game came out, like, I was hoping she wouldn't be a closer, but you know what? Now I'm glad she's a closer. It's funny how at work sometimes you hope for something to not happen. It happens, but you end up being glad that it did happen. And I love Allie. She's super generous. I get a lot of perfect scores from her despite being a closer. She's definitely probably one of my favorite customers in general, along with Moose. I'm serious. Not just favorite closer in that game, not just favorite local, but one of my favorite customers. I love it when a Game Maria comes out where, like, you know, that where like when like someone debuts that ends up being my favorite customer, because like it helps me to establish a special attachment and a special love for a certain Game Maria, especially if they're a closer, because you know, they come in on a consistent basis. You know, you don't have to rely on coupons, although I do wish you could give closers coupons anyway. And it's more rewarding to get perfect scores from them because, you know, closers are said to be more picky. So yeah. Some of the holiday, and as for my holiday prediction, you know, some of them were right and some of them were wrong. You know, I was right about New Year's. I was right about Valentine's Day, thankfully. Although I was getting paranoid about Mardi Gras being in the game because they usually release sneak peeks on Tuesdays. And, you know, we even got some holiday sneak peeks, you know, besides Pirate Dash. We got a son of a bitch and a half. We got like holiday, and then we got like a Halloween sneak peek on Halloween. Oh, she actually likes that good, because they usually fucking hate the barbecue scorpions, I think they're called. But yeah, I was actually thinking, oh my gosh, we get sneak peeks every Tuesday. Don't tell me we're gonna get a Mardi Gras sneak peek. So, what ended up happening was we didn't get a sneak peek on Tuesday. We got a sneak peek the day after, and it ended up being a Valentine's Day sneak peek. It was the biggest slap in the face to Mardi Gras, and that was so amusing. Not that don't get me wrong. I don't want any of you to get any wrong ideas. Mardi Gras doesn't ruin the Game Marias for me. In fact, it happens to be in some of my favorite, most enjoyable ones, but it's just not the same as having Valentine's Day, because my friends, Valentine's Day is where it's at. I guess I'll equip the lace band. It goes good. Lace goes good with pastel pink, in my opinion. Let's talk to him, because I think he's going to give us a tablet. But yeah, Holly was another holiday that I predicted, you know, I figured it would go really well with Papa's Plitteria, so I predicted it. I was wrong about Big Top Carnival. And Easter being in the game, because I thought we were going to get to baseball season and Sugarplex Film Fest. I heard someone predicted that we were going to get a magic related holiday. And honestly, you know, don't get me wrong, new holidays can be fun, but sometimes in some games I just want to stick with older holidays, especially if I have like a wish list or a prediction list out of all of them. Even though Valentine's Day will always be top priority, but there are like other preferences I have for certain game areas. Because, you know, I wanted to see what Sugarplex Film Fest would be like in Papa's Plitteria. I feel like that would be freaking delicious. Like you have like, you know, candy, chunks, Frizzo, flavored paletas. Mmm. Yummy, 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 yummy. But I do like Big Top Carnival for one reason. Cotton candy paletas. Even though I still favored Valentine's Day, if we would have gotten Mardi Gras instead, I would have favorited cotton candy, Big Top Carnival, because oh my gosh, cotton candy ice cream is the shit. And Ethan, you probably already figured this out because, you know, I'm the type of person who looks at the holiday lineup when I first get the game because, you know, it's just one of those things I'm curious about. The closer lineup and the holiday lineup. You know, those are actually my favorite things about playing a game Maria for the first time is you get to find out about what the closer lineup is like and what the holiday lineup is like, and it's just so much fun because even if you have predictions, you don't really know what to expect because you could predict something completely off the wall and it could be completely different. You know, it can be fun and all to like you get predictions right, but that does take away the surprise from it. So it's good for some games too. All right, sorry about that. My camera fell. It's good for some things to be different from what you expected. Green Ethan. There's also Easter. I know how you feel about Easter in that game, but it is not unlocked with Cletus this time around. It's unlocked with Imlet. Cletus is unlocked though, and he does wear his bunny costume, so you still have to deal with that, but at least it's not unlocked with him. And at least it doesn't replace Cherry Blossom Festival because it's in May. Like, I think it's been a while since Cherry Blossom Festival was in May. Usually, like, like, it's been a while since they put it in May. I think they've put it in April, other than in, like, Papa's Cupcakeria HD and Hot Doggeria HD, I believe, were the two exceptions, which came out a while back. So, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's usually a May holiday. I mean, an April holiday, sorry. And I remember you saying you preferred Cherry Blossom Festival in April as opposed to May. I don't. I know it's in Scooperia HD, and I know it's in Scooperia, one of the Scooperia games. I forgot which version, and I forgot whether it's in April or May. But yeah, it's been a while since they've put it in May. It's usually an April holiday. But you know something? I was always curious about. I think it's nice that Easter and Cherry Blossom Festival existed together. I don't blame you for, not for the shittest part. But Easter and Cherry Blossom Festival are both very aesthetically pleasing holidays in the games. The motifs are cute, flowers, tulips, cute bunnies, pretty colors, nice ingredients. So I'm glad that they existed together. And it's almost Easter in real life, in fact. I'm curious about what the blog will have. I'm hoping it will feature Ali Kabam, because I feel like it just makes sense, because you know how bunny rabbits are associated with Easter, and then she has an association with rabbits, because she's a magician, and how sometimes magicians are associated with rabbits. So I would love for her to make an appearance in the Easter picture this year. I love getting stuff. Okay, Whippet already has that, so I'm just gonna sell it. I love getting official art of my favorite characters. It's and just official things in general. It's such a good feeling. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I'm very curious about her flip deck too. I can't wait for it to come out. And I'll probably do a live stream on Papa's Paleteria soon. It'll be a new game file. Green Ethan, I know you're not always free, so but don't worry. I understand. I know I might make these videos sparse because I want you to be able to watch them. I don't want us missing out on getting the chance to talk to each other. But yeah, Papa's Paleteria is really good. Like I said, the only thing I would have done differently is like put Enzo in the game because, I was really curious about him. I wonder if we're going to get him in Papa's... Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to alternate between making, new game areas and deluxe remakes. So I think what will happen is next year, Papa's Burgeria Deluxe will come out. And I'm hoping we get Enzo then. But yeah, that would be awesome if we got Papa's Burgeria Deluxe, because right now it's the only gameria that doesn't have any of the bells and whistles of that the other gamerias have, like, specials, holidays, etc. All the customers, all the newer customers. Oh, yes, yes, yes. But yeah. Alright, I do want to talk about some other stuff outside of Papa Louie. And I only want to make these for about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm gonna change the subject. So you guys know how I kept telling you, I kept telling you guys, oh, I may have to see a psychiatrist. The doctor needs to fill out my paperwork. This is taking forever, I kept saying the same stuff because it took a while to get any updates. That's what I mean by stagnant, There was really nothing going on and nothing to update you guys on for a while. But what happened was, my dad finally had a guardianship appointment this past Monday. And like during my brother's spring break, my dad also took off, which was from March 11th through March 15th. Here's what happened. We went and ran some errands, you know. We got food, and then like I think my dad had some other stuff to take care of. And then we went to the lawyers. They weren't there because like last year around this time we actually got the paperwork, but it took my dad like 4 months to make an appointment. You know, I've talked about all of that. You know, I had 3 appointments. One in August, one in July, one in August, and one in September. And then like, you know, in September, like is the one where my dad dropped off paperwork for my doctor, you know. And like, you know, she's really busy, you know, she has patients, and she was really scared to sign the paper, or not sign. We're gonna have someone else sign it, but yeah, she was really scared to sign or fill out the paperwork. So and of course she's dealing with patients, so it took her until March of this year to do it. You know, my dad had a guardianship appointment for me last year in March, you know, and then like he dropped off the paperwork in September of last year, and we finally got it filled out in March of this year. Like right before his spring break. Thank God, because, you know, he was off that week because he had stuff to do. So it's the perfect time to get stuff like this done, is when he doesn't have work to worry about. So, you know, I went with him to the lawyer's office, but, you know, my dad said that the lawyer was like an older guy, you know. So we went in there, it was locked. So we couldn't do anything, but when my dad called him later that day, we found out that he retired. Yeah, but he gave him the number to another guardianship lawyer. Yeah. I don't know if my dad was being jokey or if he was serious, but he was saying, "Oh, I hope this lawyer, not the new one, but the one from last year, oh, I hope he didn't die." And I was like, "Oh God, that would not be good." But thankfully, he just retired. So, you know, he gave my dad another guardianship lawyer's number. And, you know, he set up an appointment, which happened this past Monday. And what will happen is, I think my dad's gonna take the paperwork to Dr. Shelton, and he's gonna sign it. It shouldn't take as long this time because, you know, it's already filled out. I think he just needs to sign it. And like, you know, I think he's at like a higher rank, I guess you can say, than my doctor. So, you know, he shouldn't really have any hesitation. So it should be a quicker process. He may have to fill out some paperwork on his own too. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping it shouldn't take as long. Because, you know, a part of it was, was probably being busy with patients, but another part of it was like hesitation because like she was like skeptical about filling it out. But thankfully that shouldn't be an issue with, the, I guess you could, the higher rank doctor. But yeah, I have an eye appointment on Tuesday, April 2nd. It'll be, it's going to be after Easter weekend. It'll be 2 days after Easter. I had my dentist appointment last week. That went pretty well. I do accumulate a lot of plaque, unfortunately, but thankfully they didn't find any cavities. Oh, thank goodness. I was like freaking happy and relieved about that because I do struggle to prevent cavities due to my higher plaque accumulation rate, because plaque is what causes cavities. So if you're someone that accumulates more plaque than the average person, you're at a higher risk for getting cavities. But they didn't find any cavities last week, so I was extremely relieved because I was worried sick. I'm worried about getting cavities because I'm worried my grandma and my dad will get really mad at me. I'm extremely sensitive to like anger, or like even when my grandma and my dad get annoyed with me for something, get annoyed at me for something. I'm just really sensitive to that. Like, I don't know. What's it called? SPD? Like, I think there's a name for that. Like, sensitive person disorder. I don't know, but highly sensitive person. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Highly, like, HSP for highly sensitive person, and that describes me to a T, guys. It just does. Like, that's just how I am. I almost said sensitive person disorder, and I was like, yeah, that does not sound right. Highly sensitive person is probably what is the proper term. But yeah, oh my god, like, I'm very sensitive when it comes to annoyance and anger towards me, so it just fucks up my mood. It honestly hurts more than like getting the cavity filled. Like, I mean, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to start anything. They think I'm worried about the procedure of getting cavities filled. No, that's not what I worry about. I worry about them getting really mad at me. But yeah, my dentist appointment went well, so I'm pretty happy about that. I did have a lot of plaque built up due to my certain situations that that are working against me, but I'm just happy that they didn't find any cavities, because other than that, they did say I was doing well and stuff. So, you know, it feels good to hear that. I had a hair appointment this week, which, you know, hair appointments, like, they're nothing to be nervous of. Like, it's a it's a freaking haircut. But like medical appointments, like certain doctor's appointments, yeah, I do worry about those. So yes, I have appointments on 3 consecutive weeks. Last week was a dentist appointment. This week it was a hair appointment, which was the fun one out of them. And then next week I have an eye appointment. My grandma set me up for one the day I went to the dentist last week. And, you know, my dad actually has one on Tuesday as well, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go together. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm nervous for it because, like, you know, I don't like, some people do eye tests a little bit differently. Some people have you look at a chart while covering one of your eyes. Like, you know, I hate that shit because it makes it. I feel like it lessens your vision a little bit when you can only see things with one eye. You know, it's hard to focus on smaller letters from a distance. So I don't like how some eye tests are done that way, you know. It's better to look into a machine, like, you know, because you can actually focus on the letters better that way. And I'm hoping, you know, that's how I'm gonna get my eyes checked. Is I'm gonna look through a machine, because it allows for more focus and for more clearance than just covering one of your eyes and looking at an eye chart. Don't get me wrong, Ashton and the 2 Ethans, I know you guys wear glasses. I don't have any ill will for people who wear glasses. Don't get me wrong, but I just worry about getting them. You know, I don't want to be able to have to wear glasses or contacts. So I'm hoping that, like, if it is the type where you just look into a machine, it should be a lot easier for me. Because, you know, like, when you look into a machine, like, it's like a, you know, it's basically the same thing. Like, you know, like, there's, like, you know how it works. Like, you know, there's those, you have to call out the letters. You know, the big letters are at the top. Then, like, it just keeps getting, like, you know, smaller and smaller. And the letters get smaller and smaller and smaller as they go down. You know what? I'm sure you guys have eye appointments before. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be calling out letters. But yeah, my dad told me that I need to have an eye appointment because I have NF, so they just want to make sure my eyes are fine. Plus, he said that appointments were a part of the guardianship process. So yeah, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think my dad said that we're gonna drop off the guardianship paperwork to the doctor that will have to sign it while we're out at our appointments. Ooh. Platinum ring, alright. Oh, purple Ethan. I'm sorry it says MLP Ethan. I think I selected your one of your Miis, and it like from like that I made like, you know, a pre-made me from back in 2021 or something when we still called you MLP Ethan. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, at least I don't have to worry about like getting something with my eyes that my parents can't, or my dad and my grandma, you know, can get mad about. So I'm at least happy about that. You know, that's over with until October, my next dentist appointment. But yeah, I just worry about eye appointments too, because you have to worry about them finding something or like having to get glasses. Like I said, I'm fine. I'm fine with other people wearing glasses. Shit, you guys should know. You guys are my 3 best friends, and you all wear glasses. But it's just not something I would want to have to do. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if I have to go to the psychologist or not. I may not have to. I mean, it would be nice. Like, I get it. It's one less thing my dad has to make plans for, but you know, I've talked about this with you guys time and time again. Like, I want to go to a psychologist, you know, I want a mental assessment. I saw my paperwork and it didn't say anything for the mental section, and it just said none, and I was like, I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure I have autism spectrum disorder or ADHD. They just put the physical part, you know, neurofibromatosis type 1. besides the doctor, I think when I was diagnosed like with neurofibromatosis, from what my parents said, like the doctor did say I was on the spectrum, and that really mean, and like when people say that, like that means they usually refer to the autistic spectrum. So that means maybe not specifically autism, but autism spectrum disorder. So technically I am diagnosed with it. It just gets misinterpreted, as I guess. But yep. You know, I've talked about this with you guys before, why I... Oh, she's just... Okay. Good. I thought I pressed the attack button, she was gonna spare one of the enemies. Not the spider, though, because you can't spare bosses. But yeah. Another thing I can relate to in terms of ADHD is, you know, hyperactivity doesn't always have to be physical, you know, it can be mental too. Like, you know, it can have like, it can involve having a lot on your mind, you know, racing thoughts, overthinking, you know. It's not just a physical thing, but it can also be like a mental thing, and thing when it comes in terms of like overthinking or like having a lot on your mind, like, you know, stuff like that, which, oh my god, I struggle with that so much. It's funny because like I didn't even really think about having the fact that I could have ADHD like until August 2022, and then now all of a sudden, and now like after these almost 2 years now, like I I can't see myself not having it because I just relate to it so well, and the more I learn about it, the more I think I have it. I know online tests should not replace like talking to a professional, but I've even taken some online tests for autism and ADHD, and they seem to come back on the more on the positive side. So yeah, I'm definitely, there's definitely a very high chance that I could have autism or Asperger's and even ADHD. And from what my dad said, like the lawyer was gonna actually talk to me. He didn't say, he didn't tell me, but I overheard him talk about it. So that will be interesting. I didn't go to the guardianship appointment or the consultation appointment that happened back on Monday, because you know that was just my dad like going to talk to him, you know, like an introductory appointment. So it was just my dad, but next time we have an appointment, I'm gonna be involved. I may have already mentioned this, but like I think like last year, like back in, I think it was when we came back from the day we came back from vacationing at South Padre and Corpus, he said that like there's gonna be people coming in to inspect the house. And oh my god, that just makes me feel uneasy, but whatever it takes for me to live a stable life, I guess. You know, there's still a lot that needs to happen, you know. I'm probably thinking too far ahead, but, you know, and it's gonna be a while before this happens, you know. I'm not in any rush. But I do want to eventually. Get my own place. Look, don't get me wrong. I love my family, but like I just clash with them so severely. Just earlier today, me and my I wouldn't necessarily say it was like an argument or a fight, but like I was wondering if we were gonna get fast food this weekend, because we usually do it Friday, but since my dad is off Friday, because you know it's Good Friday, so he has off. I was wondering if we were still gonna do fast food that day, or if he was gonna unfortunately cook something instead. And then like, you know, he kind of got annoyed and stuff. One thing we really clash on is like, I get it, it can't always happen, but you know, I like for things to be okay, I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but like I like for things, I guess, to be set in stone. Whereas my dad, you know, I have the mindset where I want for things to be set in stone, and he has the mindset of, you know, how plans can like constantly change, you know. That's just one of many examples where we clash on. Another thing we clash on is sleep schedules. You know, I like to sleep in, whereas he's an early bird, and you know, sometimes he like does shit and stuff, watches sports, screams and cheers, and plays his drums, you know. Sometimes he'll do those things early in the morning where most people, well, maybe not most people, but a lot of people are still sleeping, because sometimes he causes commotion when it's like early in the morning. You know, he's an early bird, I'm a night owl. That's another example of us clashing. You know, there's still a lot I need to figure out before I venture out on my own, if you will. I have other family related stuff to figure out, you know. I want to like get into my programs pretty soon, in the next year or so. I don't know if it'll be that quick, because it's a slow process, but at least in the next year to few years, hopefully I can get into those programs. Because, you know, I want to have a routine again. Like, I want to be able to get up and do stuff on a regular basis. I want to make local in-person friends. Don't get me wrong, I love my online friends, especially you, Purple Ethan, Green Ethan, and Ashton. But I also want to have local friends that live in this town or near this town, you know what I mean? And I think getting into programs will help me to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before I'm ready to move out. You know, I still need to gain independence. You know, I need to save up money. I have familial, family, familial. I'm trying to find the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. I have family stuff to figure out. That it's hard to explain. And of course I want to get into my programs and like, you know, there's just all these prerequisites I have before I'm ready to venture out on my own, you know. So it's gonna be a while before I can, you know. It's not like you know, it's not something you can rush, you know. I have to take my time with this, but it is something that I want to eventually do. Am I going to cut my family completely out of my life? Hell no. You know, I do want to meet up with my dad and my brother on a regular basis. And you know, and just and eat something that we, you know, maybe my dad can cook tacos or spaghetti or enchiladas, and me and my brother can go over there and eat that. Or we can all meet up at a restaurant and go eat, you know. I want to do that stuff once him and I have ventured out on my own. You know, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying I'm gonna get away from these people, but I do think once I'm ready to, I feel like it could do us some good to be separated. Well, not completely separated, but you know what I mean. Like separated in terms of, like, you know, where we live. You know, my brother can have his own place where he gets to do his own thing. I get to have my own place where I get to do my own thing. My dad will live alone and he can do his own thing, you know. I don't have to worry about this. My dad and my brother getting into my rigmarole. I don't have to worry about getting into my dad and my brother's rigmarole. We don't have to worry about getting mixed in each other's commotion. You know, we'll have our own place, so we can do what we want without inconveniencing anyone. Yeah, again, I'm sorry it says MLP Ethan. I think I selected an old me back when you still went by MLP Ethan. But nowadays, we prefer to call you Purple Ethan, since you're not, you know, you're more of a casual MLP fan nowadays, which is for the best. Plus, Green Ethan is known as, well, Green Ethan, so it's consistent to refer to you guys as your favorite colors. But yeah, I definitely do hope me and my brother can eventually move into our own places later on down the road. Don't get me wrong, I'm in no rush to. It's not something, it's not good to rush, something like that. But it is something that I do want to do when I can. Because like I said, I love my dad, I love my brother, but we just tend to clash very severely. I clash very severely with them. Them two, they don't clash as much, but me and my dad and me and my brother, yes, we clash. We just clash very severely. It's hard for us to see eye to eye. We have different values and preferences and views. I'm just a totally different person from them both. But yeah, I'm curious about these next 4 days. Should be hectic. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and of course Tuesday too. Monday, shouldn't be anything new. Monday is probably going to be a normal day, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will probably be a little something. It'll be hectic. God knows what those days have in store. But yeah, Thursday will be like a Friday because, like I said, my dad has Friday off, and I don't know if my brother's gonna go to college or not. So I'm curious about what tomorrow has in store. Then, then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Easter weekend, so those will be hectic. Monday should just be a normal day. And then Tuesday, I have a freaking eye appointment. Yep, my life is crazy. But honestly, sometimes it's good to have a little craziness in your life. A little craziness never hurt anyone, the way I see it. Yeah, if you remember the third teammate in Realm of the Fae takes forever. But we got him. I think I'm going to do one more battle, then I'll end it off. I had fun today, I actually had a lot to talk to you guys about, so I enjoyed getting it all out. We had a good talk today, which makes me very happy. My other episodes felt kind of stagnant, like I said, because it was hard finding new things to talk to you guys about. At least in terms of life updates. Well, Purple Ethan and Ashton, you guys know a little bit about them because, I keep you guys updated on Discord, but Green Ethan, I know you can't be on Discord, so you know what? We're giving him the acorn. It was a gift from Ashton. Plot twist. But yeah, I know Green Ethan doesn't really know about these updates because he can't be on Discord. So that's one of the reasons why I talk about them on here. Plus, like, it's different. Like, it's different, like, actually talking about them. You know, because, you know, I try to make them more in depth, like when I'm doing a video. Plus, like, it's, you know, it's good to, like, don't get me wrong, typing and writing is very cathartic, but, you know, it's also extremely therapeutic to just, like, you know, verbalize or vocalize or whatever what's on your mind, and then, like, make a video out of it. Like, you know, it's a nice feeling to share that with you guys, and even going back and watching it is enjoyable. But yeah, that's my life update. You know, we finally got the paperwork filled out. But we do need to get it signed, but, you know, that shouldn't take as long. You know, I have an eye appointment on Tuesday, and if I'm correct, I think my dad said that we're going to drop off the paperwork that day since we're going to be out. So, yeah. New stuff. We're finally getting stuff done again. You know, it feels nice. I'm relieved that, you know, I was really worried when the lawyer wasn't there. Like, oh my God. I was literally thinking, oh my God, we're screwed. But thankfully, my dad left, you know, the old lawyer that retired a message, you know, and he told my dad he retired, and he gave him the number to another lawyer, which my dad already talked to, and we just need to get that paperwork filled, or it's already filled out, but signed by the other doctor. So, yep. It's nice to finally have some updates for you guys. One thing that does concern me about going to the psychiatrist is Nana taking me. Like, I'm worried she'll have to take me and she's gonna force me to have the psychologist have scriptures involved. You know, like, you know, that's like religious stuff, and you guys know I'm an atheist, you know. I'm just not, like, look, I'm fine with Christians as long as they are respectful about their beliefs, but it just isn't for me. You know, it just doesn't, like, it's, I don't want to, I'm just going to say it like that because, you know, I don't want to sound disrespectful myself, but it's just not for me. And my grandma is extremely religious. Hell, my dad's told her that he didn't want the scriptures for his appointments, and, you know, she kept questioning him about it. So she was even questioning my dad about it. Imagine what it would be like for me. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about in terms of the possible psychologist appointment. I may not even have to do it, which, if I don't have to, like, I really want to do it because I want a proper evaluation of my mental condition and my mental health, but if I don't have to do it, I guess I don't have to worry about that bullshit rigmarole. Ooh, yes. One thing I am looking forward to the eye appointment, you know, it gives me something to do, you know. That I do like that about appointments in general, even if I do get nervous for like the doctor related ones. It does give me something to go do, and like, you know, it is nice to do that. So that's one advantage of having an eye appointment. Plus, my dad said it's a part of this whole guardianship process. You know, he said that I would have different appointments to go to. So, you know, if that's what it takes to get all this done, so be it. So, yep, like I said, I'm gonna have that Tuesday. But I think I'm gonna end it off right here, guys. Ethan, you picked a good week for me to do this. I appreciate that. You know, we had a good talk today, and I think we're gonna enjoy watching this tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night from when this is being recorded, but you know what I mean. But yeah, bye guys.